feel like that footwork is very important for quarterback play. We're going to start out with 2 drills with Tim Couch demonstrating. He's going to do the step over drill forward, the step over drill laterally, and then he's going to do the shuffle drill. All of this, we believe, develops great footwork in our quarterbacks. This is the step over drill forward. Tim's holding the ball nice and high up by his ear in a ready to throw position while working his feet forward and back. This is a great conditioning drill for quarterbacks, as well as working on the fundamentals of being ready to throw the ball. Here he's stepping laterally, right to left, once again in a good throwing position. Eyes downfield. Chris Hatcher is our quarterback coach, and he does a fine job coaching Tim Couch. Now we're going to do the shuffle drill. What the shuffle drill is Tim will drop back. He'll take a 5-step drop. He'll hitch up in the pocket, and then me, the coach, I'll give him a direction: right, left, forward, back, working his feet, and then at the end of the drill, when I put my hand down, he'll release the ball to a receiver. Go hit. Go hit. Hitch up. Here's some good footwork by Tim Couch in the pocket. What good footwork will do for you is turn what could be a bad play into a really strong play. We get several touchdowns every year just out of our quarterback having good footwork and keeping the ball up in the air, ready to throw. Here we hit just a little swing pass, and he takes it in for a touchdown for us. Tim's now going to illustrate the various drops that we do. The 3-step, the 5-step, the 7-step. These will all be done down the line. As you can see, Tim has pretty good footwork, and we believe that our footwork drills have done a lot to develop this. And then once again, he has the line down there by his feet as a reference point to make sure he has proper foot placement. In all of our drops, we want him to get a big first step and go straight back. Here's a pretty good shot of Tim doing the 3-step drop. Here's the 5-step. Carry it back, hitch up into the pocket after you hit the last step if you don't release the ball. Tim does a good job of all of that. Here's the 7-step drop, which is designed to allow him to hitch up in the pocket even further, especially if he anticipates a deep downfield throw. Sometimes when the quarterback drops back, it's important for him to release the ball quickly to a hot receiver. The next drill that we're going to run is called the hot drill or get big drill. What Tim's going to do is he's going to drop back. As he's mid-step in his drop, I'm going to clap my hands, simulating that a defender's there right now, and he has to get big in the pocket and release the ball to an awaiting receiver. Go hit. Go hit. In these 2 plays that we have here, Tim was able to get rid of the ball quickly, and both of them were big plays for us and resulted in touchdowns. Another drill we do is called the circle drill. What this drill is designed to do is to allow the quarterback to work on getting his number square to the line of scrimmage as he has to release the ball on the move. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the quarterback with a receiver or possibly another quarterback. They're going to be about 10 yards apart, and they're going to run a circle to the right, releasing the ball to each other at various intervals, and then turn and run the circle to the left, releasing the ball at various intervals. Emphasis on keeping the ball high and the number square to the direction where they're throwing the ball. In this drill, we want the quarterback to have great pass and release fundamentals and to continue to deliver the ball accurately. He needs to get his shoulders around and step into the throw. As you can see, Tim's getting his shoulders around as he releases the ball. We're working it to the right side first, and then he's going to reverse directions and work it to the left. Here's a pretty good shot of Tim's feet. Once again, ball high in everything that he does in this drill. Again, we expect for drills like this to pay off for us and result in touchdowns and potential emergency situation, and then just develop good footwork in our quarterbacks. Here's some game clips. He drops back, has to move his feet, gets the shoulders around, throws a good pass for a touchdown. This next drill is called the scramble drill. What the scramble drill is designed to do is to simulate a quarterback who's dropped back in the pocket, hitched up, and now has a rusher flushing him out of the pocket. As he is flushed out of the pocket, he steps forward underneath the rusher, dips his outside shoulder, bubbles back behind the line of scrimmage to get his numbers and his body in a good position to throw to a waiting receiver who's run in front of his hands to the sideline. Here we have Tim Couch dropping back to pass. Jimmy Haley, the tight end, is simulating a defensive end. Couch scrambles to the outside and throws to Jimmy Robinson, a wide receiver. Besides the quarterbacks working on scrambling, it's also a good opportunity to work with wide receivers on the toe step drill as they're about to go out of bounds catching the ball. We rehearse this type of movement and this type of situation in practice in hopes that we'll be able to get ourselves out of bad situations and get big plays in the game. Work at both right and left side. Here's a game example against Tennessee. Tim dips under the defensive end, gets rid of the ball, results in a completion. Again, a good job getting himself out of trouble and scoring a touchdown. This next drill we're going to work on is called the bucket drill. The reason we call it the bucket drill is because we use a plastic trash bucket that any athletic department has, and the quarterbacks drop back at various distances. Sometimes, we're 5 yards away, sometimes 10, sometimes 20, and they're going to throw a ball where they put air under the ball, and they want the ball to make it into the bucket. Now, not all the balls always make it into the bucket, but that type of throw with air under it and the type that would point the end of the ball downward is the type of throw that we need on our fade routes and our vertical routes, and this is a good way to practice it. Here the quarterback's doing a good job working the drill, getting air under the ball, the type of ball that needs to be thrown on a fade route. This ball here goes in the bucket. Whether it goes in the bucket or not, if they get good air under it and come close to the point they're aiming at, we have pretty good throws that we can use in the course of a game and make great catches. How about that? Here's a close-up of the ball so you can see the flight of the ball as it goes in the bucket with the nose of the ball down. Here's some good examples in the game of the type of ball that we want thrown that we try to develop in the course of the bucket drill. Okay, now we're going to work on receiver drills. These drills are designed to work on footwork and the catches and the situations that a receiver will face in the course of a ball game. These two drills are our cone drills. The first one is a 45-degree angle cone drill, and we set the cones out in this configuration so that they work on 45-degree angle cuts. It's important that the wide receivers stick their toe in the ground as they cut, and then they want to throw the opposite elbow. They need to keep their numbers down over their feet so that they can make good, sharp cuts. Now the cones are set in a 90-degree angle configuration, once again doing the same thing, but cutting at a different angle. Toe in the ground, throws his elbow, making good cuts, keeping the numbers over his feet. We can see it a little better here up close. Pretty good cuts to allow us to run sharp pass routes. Here's some examples of good cuts on the pass route. The defender falls down, and we'd like to think it was because of some of the good cuts that he made. Good cut there as he stuck his route and caught the ball. We call this drill the ball drill. The quarterback will yell out ball, and when the receiver hears ball, he'll turn around, try to find the ball in midair, and make a good catch. Here's some examples coming up of us turning to the left side. One thing the receiver wants to do is snap his head quickly, find the ball, adjust his hands, and make the catch. There will be situations in the course of a game where he has to find a ball in the air that he doesn't necessarily get thrown. Here's a good example here. The man in motion comes around, the ball's thrown in the air, and he finds it and makes the catch. Once again, from a tight shot, you'll see the receiver, as the ball's already in the air at this point, find it, come back for it, make a good catch. This drill here we call the distraction drill. We have a player get in the middle to do everything he can to distract the receiver from catching the ball. The middleman can do everything but touch the ball. We don't allow him to touch the ball, but he can do anything that he can to disrupt the vision of the receiver. We'll work the receivers coming both right side and left side. The hands of the defender oftentimes will come up in front of the receiver's face, but we still want to have the ability to make the catch. Here's some game footage, and that's a great job by Lance Mickelson pulling in the ball under all kinds of distraction. Another example here. This drill is called high and hard drill. What we have the quarterback do is throw a high, an outside, high and hard type of ball that's catchable but not a real good ball, and have the receivers work on adjusting to a tough situation so that when they face it in the ball game that they're able to adjust and still make a great catch. We'll work at both right side and left side. High and hard balls to the right side, high and hard balls to the left side. Here's some game footage, great catch there, high and hard, touchdown. Another example of high and hard here that resulted in a touchdown. Like high and hard, we now work on balls that are thrown low and behind. Poorly thrown but catchable balls, working on making great catches so that when we face this situation in a game that we're able to adjust to it and still make good plays. Working at both right side and left side once again. The net on the goalpost comes in handy as far as stopping stray balls. Here's some game footage, low and behind, good catch. Another low and behind throw here. And this one results in a touchdown. Another drill we run is the comeback drill. On the comeback drill, we want to stick the toe in the ground, snap the head and the body around, catch the ball, and turn and go straight upfield. What we're really looking for here is planting the toe in the ground and the explosion of getting straight upfield and then splitting the defenders. The two men standing there represent defenders, and we want to accelerate and explode through them, simulating defenders. Good example of the footwork, put the toe in the ground, turn and go straight upfield. Real emphasis on going straight upfield. Here's a good example, catches the ball, goes straight upfield, and splits several defenders in this case. Here's another example. And this resulted in us beating Alabama in overtime. When we release at the line of scrimmage and press coverage, we want to attack half of a man. So if I'm going to release this way, I want to attack this side of the man rather than try to take on his whole body. Of course, the other thing would be if I'm releasing this way, I'd attack this side of his body. The way we're going to attack this man and execute our release is first, we're going to foot fire. Second, we're going to clear his hands. Third, we're going to establish a move. And when we do a move, we want our foot to follow our hand, and then we want to get back over the top of the man that we're trying to gain a release on. Okay, here we got two receivers working on the foot fire drill. He foot fires going one direction, looses the defender, and then attacks going upfield, working on getting back over the top. Here's a one-on-one drill where he does a pretty good foot fire preceding that swim move.
Another foot fire, leans on the defender, makes a good catch.
Okay, first Jimmy's going to clear his hands, and then he's going to do a rip arm and get back over the top of him.
Here Jimmy clears his arms and then gets back over the top of him. Another example of a rip arm. Here's another rip arm, good release. Did such a good job clearing his hands, didn't really have to rip as much as he sometimes does. Here's the swim move. Two good shots of the swim move during one-on-one period. Brings his arm over the top, clears him, catches it.
A good way to practice releases is to do it on a line so that once the player releases, he can tell when he gets back over the top. So what we'll have him do is we'll have him foot fire, clear the hands, then do either the rip arm, which is underneath the hands, or the swim, which is over the top of the arms, and then get back over the top, using the line as a landmark of where he wants to get back over the top. It's crucial to get back over the top of a defender, so you force him to take the extra steps required for him to turn, thereby giving you more of a lead and a head start on him as far as running upfield on your route.
As soon as he gets even with the defender, get back over the top. Here's two good examples of where we get over the top of the defenders and make catches. Back over the top, adjusting to the ball. Here's some game footage as far as great releases. Good release, find that little crease, catch the ball.
Now we're going to talk about route running. The following are some skills and techniques that we use to enhance our pass routes. All pass routes need to start with a great stance and a great release, which we've already talked about. These are some of the fine points as we're running the route itself.
This is an example of playing low and keeping the shoulders down. In order to do this, you have to keep the numbers over the feet, and it'll allow you to cut more sharply. And these are pretty good examples of that. One of the very important things in route running is having low numbers and being able to make quick, sharp cuts. Here's a game example of keeping the numbers over the feet and coming straight back, a nice sharp cut. Another important route running skill is keeping the DB's hands off of you. As the DB tries to put his hands on you throughout the route, knock his hands down to give yourself space to catch the ball. Another thing is anytime the DB has his hands on you, he can feel where you're at. Here's slow motion now, knocking the hands down, continuing to knock the hands down as many times as you have to always keep the defender's hands off. Here's a game shot. The receiver at the bottom, knocking the hands down, giving himself room to make a big catch. Here he had to knock two defenders' hands down several times in order to make this catch. This skill here is lean on and maximize space. This is where a defender is on your hip, trying to push you to the sideline. Need to lean with the body, drive the defender to the inside, giving yourself some space to the outside to adjust to the ball. Game footage of lean on and maximize. Here he leans on the defender and works outside. This next skill we're working on going to where you saw the defender last. Anytime a receiver beats the defender at the line of scrimmage, he ought to go to where he saw the defender last, because the defender will overcompensate and go to where he got beat by the receiver. As a route's being run, once you get the defender to turn, if you touch his arm while his back's turned to the opposite side of where you're going, sometimes he'll over-adjust to that side. Here's a game example of this. And the tight shot of the same example. Another route running technique is head and body lean. A lot of times you can influence the defender opposite of where you're going by using a good head lean and body lean. Even as you're just going straight upfield, just lean a little bit and he may feather away from the area you want to catch the ball in. Good game example there. Here's another. Good body lean. Big catch.
That's it.
Sticking the route's important. As you stem the route, as you get to where you're going to make your cut, stick the toe into the ground. And that'll facilitate a sharp cut, and it'll also force the defensive back to freeze in case you're going to come to the direction where you stick the toe in the ground. Here we do a good job as far as sticking the toe in the ground, and it results in a big play for us. It's important to have the shoulders over the feet like we talked about earlier in order to get a good stick. Here we're working on running with our hands down. A lot of times when a receiver's catching a ball, he's going to want to raise his hands up prematurely rather than run through the ball, like in this example right here. The better way to do it is to not put your hands up until the last instant, as we see here. Here's some game footage. Here the receiver does a good job keeping his hands down until right when the ball gets there. This also helps you to not telegraph to the defender that the ball's coming, plus get that extra step or two in running through the ball. Here we're working on coming back to the ball and catching it at the highest point. You want to catch the ball as soon as you possibly can so that it's not in the air any longer than it has to be. Also catch it at the highest point to minimize the chance of a defensive player getting the ball. Good job coming back to the ball and going up for it there. Here's another case where the receiver comes back to the ball, cutting off those two defenders as far as them ever having an opportunity to catch the ball. And it turns into a good play.